Jeremy Brodeur was texting me last night about Mike Smith, Oilers Jets series. Take it away. The guy was texting me, and I kept telling him I don't want to talk about this on text. We're gonna do this in the podcast. Here we go.
Okay, the guy posted incredible numbers throughout the series. He was not the reason why they lost the whole series, but that game 3 when they were up 4-1, it was just, and you've got to credit the guy. The guy's done everything in the world there is in hockey. He's what is he, 39 right now, playing in the NHL? That's insane. But I was watching the game and all the goal, and he has a very, very unique style of playing hockey. So it is different, but to me it looked like all the goals were credit to him just playing so far back in his goal line. But then he makes so many more saves because that's the way he plays and he can gain more depth and stuff. So there's two sides of it obviously, but to me it was just cringeworthy to see all 4 goals go in, or however many it was, and so many of them he was so far back in his goal line. I was just no, just come off. You would have stopped it.
I was actually wondering last night. I was actually thinking about that when you were texting me. That was that he's gotten beaten a couple where he's sitting deep, but with the whole trade-off, he's a bigger guy.
Like I said, with the way he plays, there's a trade-off. He gets to so many more pucks because he plays back in his net, and that's how I said. And I said this to you last night too. As much as I hate the way this game's going for him right now, one of the best performances I've seen in live hockey was a Toronto versus Coyotes game. And I actually think, one of my buddies got me tickets to the game, and I think he made 48, 47 saves against Toronto, and it was just insane. And the guy did it standing right in the goal line. So, hey, it works for him, and it's just that game, he kind of got bitten by it, I guess.
I find the part the most interesting is how narrow he keeps his hands to his body, and the fact that even though he's on the goal line with these narrow hands, he's still able to reach top corner blocker, high glove, low. He's got.
And with how far back he plays, you'll see when he plays, he never double covers anything. That singular game, I didn't like. Obviously, I haven't watched the whole series and everything, but for him, it was like a point shot that he was on his goal line and it hit his pad and went right to the guy. But if he was a step further out, it wouldn't have been on the guy's tape. That was what was going through my mind when I was watching that. So that's why I was just kind of not freaking out, but I was being very judgmental during the game because I wanted them to win so bad. Every year you see the Oilers. I mean, sure, I know you're a Winnipeg fan, you're pumped they won, but
dude,
you don't want to. I wanted to see them do well this playoffs. I didn't think they were going to win, but I wanted to see them do well.
Specifically though, with Edmonton, do you think this just tarnishes McDavid's legacy so far? Because he's either not made playoffs or lost right away, and then
they lost second round last year, right?
Was it?
No, they got bounced the qualifiers.
I thought so.
No, didn't they run right through Chicago last year, and then lose second
Chicago
round?
Chicago dummied them in 5 games, I think.
Okay, I'm wrong then. I don't know.
They made his second year in the league, which was 2016.
Anaheim game 7 is when Kessler lifted Talbot's pad in overtime.
They made a decent little run there, yeah. But after that, he's just never. And I don't do. It's he does so good, and obviously you can't argue how good he is at hockey. And obviously put up 105 points in 56 games, and then then he makes the playoffs and loses first round. It's what do you guys think that is? Why does that? Why can't they and him maybe put it together in playoffs?
I mean, it's so tough because playoff hockey. I mean, a general rule of thumb when you get to playoff hockey is the team with the better goalie wins. Not obviously there's exceptions all the time, but generally. So that's why you roll to this first series. Okay, they're gonna run through Winnipeg because Winnipeg's this team, but they got Connor Hellebuck, who's a lights out goaltender when he needs to be in playoff games when they're tight. They're not all 6-5 games. You need a guy like that, and I mean Mike Smith was that guy for 3 of the 4 games, but hey, better goalie won, in my opinion.
Yeah,
better goalie currently won.
Yeah, that goal. Scheifele's tying goal last night, was it? It was disgusting, the play.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe they swept them.
Yeah, I didn't think in a million years that was going to happen, but...
I'm just saying, I did put up my Instagram story that they were going to sweep them. I wasn't serious when I made the pick, but damn, was I right.
You called it. You called
I called that. I'm also calling Game 7 overtime. The Panthers are going to knock off Tampa. I called that before the game last night.
I have text proof to all my buddies, so I will, if it happens, I will validate it. But I said Panthers are going to go down 2 games. Spencer Knight's going to get a shot, and he's going to win the Conn Smythe.
Wow.
That was my playoff hot take.
So you're saying they're going to win it all?
Yes. Or they could lose in the finals and he still wins.
But he'll still get it.
Never
I'm
know.
saying J.S. Jagier-esque. Like J.S. Jagier run to the Cup final, lose.
So that was my bold hot take of the playoffs that I said to my buddies.
You know what I think the craziest part about that is the fact that they're paying a guy $10.5 million to eat popcorn in the stands last night.
Yeah, but when it comes to playoffs, I mean,
yeah,
like it doesn't matter how much money the guy's making. You got to put the guys out there going to win, right?
No, I know, but I just can't. You're
technically not paying the guy in playoffs. Like,
well, true.
Yeah, that's true.
I just can't get over the fact you signed the guy to that much money, and like he's a great goaltender. He's like probably one of my top 3 or top 5 like personal favorites. I love watching Bob play, but I just can't get over like the lack of success he's had. Meanwhile, you have Chris Streeter, who was an East Coast American guy who's, I would say, probably taken his job, with the exception of he's not being paid as much. But I think the whole Knight thing is kind of just going to amplify that. The guy's getting $700,000. Bob's getting $10.5 million. And
the thing is, if Knight starts doing well in the playoffs, let's say he puts up a really good run.
Yeah.
What do you do next year? You got your $10 million guy that no one's going to take, I'd assume. Like, you can't trade him unless you take half his salary.
Seattle, maybe.
Yeah,
well, I want Chris Streeter for
are you still going to put $10.5 million?
That's a lot. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a big contract.
The only thing you could do is you would have to trade him and, retain a lot of his salary.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like Pittsburgh, how they did that with Fleury, but that's a big contract, obviously.
And that's why, like, you go into next year, it'd be very tough. You got the new young kid who's, maybe he just, beginner's luck, did well. Then you have Traeger, who finally had his first good year in the NHL, and then you got your $10 million guy. So it's a big triangle they're going to have next year.
That's tricky. It is tricky.
Is Bob the next Rick DiPietro, though? Do you think he's the next Rick DiPietro contract-wise? Although you can't sign a 17-year deal, but that's probably the next closest thing.
Yeah. But, generally I think Panthers are my hot. Like, I did a poll, tell my buddies I picked Panthers to win.
So far, your prediction isn't wrong.
It started.
It's on track.
It's on track.
That's tough. That's a tough prediction because of how stacked, like, the East is this year even. It's just...
I mean, they're going to have to get through who Carolina or Nashville next to, no matter what.
Yeah, and then you got Pitt, Bruins, Washington. Like, these are all stacked teams.
Washington's out, eh, Pat?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. My bad. I was thinking prior to.
That game tonight's going to be great. The Carolina-Nashville. Got Saros playing out of his mind, and Ned's also a great goalie.
Hey, you're buddies with Ned, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say buddies, but we did not like the U17 development camps, and we played in junior against each other, so we know each other a little bit.
Last point before we change topics. Picks for conference finals. 4 teams. Go.
My prediction was Toronto. I had Toronto making it to the conference finals against Boston.
Okay, I'm going to go with Tampa. So Colorado versus Tampa. And then I think the Bruins... The Bruins wouldn't cross over to Tampa, right?
No, Bruins cross over with the Canadian team.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Bruins, and then... So where would my last one have to come from? Okay. So Bruins versus... I'll go... I feel like Winnipeg is going to upset Toronto if they play. Or
Good pick.
Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah. So
I'm going Jets and Islanders on the East, and I'm going to go Tampa, Colorado on the West. Jets, Tampa, Cup final. Let's go.
I'm going Avs, Bruins.
I have Boston, Florida final.
Okay. I'm Avs versus Bruins. That's what I think.
Okay, I like it. Good.
Hot take for me is I take playoff McKinnon over McDavid any day of the week. McDavid says the top player of the league, like everyone thinks it, and for me it's like, yeah, him and McKinnon, but I take McKinnon any day of the week because of the playoffs. If I'm like picking a team,
McDavid is the most skilled player in the NHL, but he's not the best player in the NHL. Like I would rather have Crosby in the playoffs,
right?
team,
For sure.
Then maybe not the best choice, but hey, I don't know.
It's hard to argue it's not though, because of just history and how Crosby's like shown that he can win a cup and can carry a team.
It's also a pretty easy pick when the Avs just swept Colorado and the Oilers just got swept.
Yeah, the Avs
He's a playoff
swept Colorado.
Or Jesus, St. Louis. Sorry.
Yeah, but I was saying it prior too, but like I've become a big Avs fan since like McKinnon's turned it on in the last like 2-3 years. I've just been a big fan of them. I took them last year for winning it, or in the fall I guess, to win it, and then they fucking lost to Dallas. But so I'm
all
actually,
their boys got injured, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the difference now. This year I think they win it, but I guess we'll find out.
I think they're gonna put up a really, really good fight. That Vegas series when they get against Vegas is gonna be something.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of